It's a brand new week, which means you have an opportunity to rebrand yourself, come with fresh perspective, come with new excitements,
Yes.
come with new expectations. Everything should be brand new. Welcome to Smell the Coffee, where all you have to do rather is sit back, relax, and enjoy your cup of dew. My name is Aina Koyo, alongside the handsome Ashwin Berry, and we will be taking you through this entire show this morning. Hey, what is happening? What is up?
What is up is that Anna just called me handsome.
But you've been new. But you've been new, most.
It was an interesting weekend.
Yes.
You know, as always, you know me with the sports. I was
Arsenal.
deep in it. But I went, I found myself, checking out what's happening in the tech world and business-wise, And I think some of the stories we'll get into today, were inspired through my reading over the weekend. And I have to say that it's a little scary. The world, every time it's encouraging.
Yeah.
Something you're like, hey,
happening. And that ties in very well with our theme for this week, because we will be chatting business. We'll be having some business people in studio. So you want to watch Smell the Coffee during this week. Now, I wanted to ask you, I read something on Twitter. This person tweeted that, they were with their friend, and then a person who has beef with their friend came around their circle. So this person was talking to the ex-friend or the person who the friend doesn't vibe with. And now the friend is angry, Kucha. Why are you talking to people that I don't vibe with you as my friend? You and I are friends. If you have beef with Zakaria or whoever, would you expect me to inherit your beef?
Well, I don't know about inheriting beef, because I think everyone should always have their own autonomy to choose. But I mean, as a friend, you do have to understand that trust is a big thing, right? And loyalty, right?
Yeah.
So I also need to be able to trust that when we're not together, you can have my back. Now, if you're fraternizing with someone who intends to do me harm, as a friend, as much as I can say I won't interrupt you, you have to understand the boundaries that I place after that.
Okay.
Because if there's ever a clash, I'm supposed to be sure of my friend. Let's say me and the enemy in court clash. I'm supposed to 100% sure that my friend is on my side. But if my friend
not
is
in between, not
between
lukewarm.
you see. So yeah, it's like that. At the same time, it's like, don't control people, but yeah, control your own space.
Yeah. I don't think it's really... It's not that urgent. It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. I think it depends on the nature. Because if you guys don't like each other because you once wore the same outfit.
Or you once shared the same boyfriend.
Well, I mean, that's not the same thing. That doesn't
that's
weigh
your
out.
problem. But that's your beef. That's your problem. Me, I like this person for them being this person. Maybe they are not a bad person to me.
Yeah.
But now I have to stand by you and be a bad person to them.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what's necessary.
Well, we'll be right back shortly with more interesting news. Otherwise, please let us know what you would do in that scenario. Would you inherit your friend's beef or would you not? Let us know. We'll be right back shortly.
You're still with Smell the Coffee with Aina Koyo and Ashwin Berry. Heading into some of our news stories today, I was on New York Times and they were talking about how many people who used to work for large tech companies, huge companies, have been quitting and then talking about their disgruntlement on TikTok. They've been talking about how they were treated, and some of them have been revealing the true intentions behind some of these companies, including Meta, of course, all the subsidiaries, Instagram, Amazon, and people have essentially been using TikTok as a platform to let people know what they were going through and perhaps, as a warning about the company. I find it very interesting.
I find the mode of communication very interesting. Why are we talking on TikTok?
Because these are all people
TikTok
who
is like, I don't take TikTok
seriously. But yeah, I mean, but also I think in Africa we're still at that stage where TikTok is primarily entertainment, right?
Yes.
But now in America there's now like departments devoted to TikTok and businesses and companies because it's such a part of everything that happens there. So a lot of these people are people who've been fired. You know, some people will be saying they on the internet they say that there was this much notice, but they actually just fired me right after. So I mean, I think any platform works, but what I'm wondering is, could such a thing work in Namibia? That's how I see every single story. How would that function?
I mean, anyone can choose however they want to air their grievances or their disgruntlement. I think it's a matter of preference. What do I like?
Yeah.
Some of us would go to our neighbors and vent.
Others
Some
will
of
call
us on social media.
Others will call Michael Amshelelo.
Yeah, others will call Saddam.
Saddam Amshelelo, how could I forget? Yeah, you know, but I think ultimately, I think as long as people have a platform, you know, of course it's a little scary as a business owner, but then treat your workers right if you don't want them to say nonsense on TikTok.
I mean, if you're an honorable employer, I'm sure no one will be, you know, wanting to badmouth you.
Yeah, and something they usually reveal is like how much these companies are very invasive when it comes to our private space. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things we're not aware that they're surveilling, and they really pay attention to a lot of our patterns. You know those things where we're having a conversation and then the next thing you go on your phone is suggested immediately afterwards. Exactly. You know what I mean? So yeah, not gotta read the fine print.
Yeah, all right. Now we move over to our next story. Beatrice Masilingi is starting off and on a strong note. Now she clocked a remarkable time of 34.60 seconds in the women's 300 meter during the Sambine Classic Shoutout race earlier yesterday in South Africa. Halala.
Oh yes.
Halala. You know, when you start the year off on a high note, you know your year is going to be good.
Oh, definitely.
When you win in January,
yes,
you know you are going to win for the rest of the 11 months.
Yeah, I mean, with Beatrice, the big thing has always been, you know, she's kind of been overshadowed by Christine Boma. And it's understandable. Christine Boma is an anomaly. This is like, you know, being Scottie Pippen and you're playing with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Scottie Pippen is incredible. And Michael Jordan wouldn't have won without Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
You know, looking at Beatrice, I do feel like the way that they trained together, they sharpened each other. You know what I mean? They've always been able to progress, and it's always good to see Beatrice be recognized when she steps into her own light.
I just don't like the fact that you ask the public and society, we pit them against each other. Understand that we can both be good in the same place.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes. But of course, because it's running, one's going to be better. I mean, we can see who ran faster.
It's not better, it's just that one is faster.
Yeah,
but they are all good.
Yeah, so I definitely agree in the sense of like we shouldn't pit them against each other.
You shouldn't be saying we shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, Christine is better, because this demoralizes.
But now my problem is
sometimes
I don't think it's our job to take care of Beatrice's ego. I think she's an athlete. She's accomplished. I trust her to have enough substance in herself to know what she brings to the table. At the same time, Christine Boma is not a normal thing. We're not. We're talking about possibly the best in the world, possibly the best we ever see coming from this region. So there's no escaping that glory any more than Nelson Mandela could have escaped his glory, any more than LeBron James could have escaped his glory. But what I do think is important is simultaneously continually encouraging Beatrice, because Christine's success should never be seen as Beatrice's failure.
Exactly.
In my opinion. So speaking of something interesting, I remember I was talking about tech. Tech was my thing this week.
Tech is your thing.
Tech is my thing. Now I'm getting a little scared because there's a lot of jobs that we may not be aware of which are going to be taken over by robots. Okay. Several jobs. One of these jobs are bartenders. Bartenders, if you are on the Royal Caribbean cruise, your cocktails are made by a robot, and the robots can make 2 drinks a minute, up to 1,000 a day.
That is wild.
It's scary, right?
Why would I be taking a drink from a robot?
I mean, a robot won't have a conversation with you. Maybe that's why. Maybe you don't want to talk to people.
So wait, so they put in the order with the robot.
Yes.
And then the robot does everything, does the mixes.
Does the mixes, everything. And it's not the only shocking, career which is in trouble. Of course, stockroom worker, I think we've always seen robots kind of working in the back, in the stockrooms. Soldiers, naturally, I think we see the progression. I think once we started seeing what are they called? The drones, the things which are flying. Yeah, so that's also been taken care of. Now, this one is very interesting. At the University of California in San Francisco, the prescriptions are written by a robot.
Prescriptions?
Yeah. Now, I agree with this because if you've ever read a pharmacist's handwriting or a doctor's handwriting, but yeah, it's filled out by the... So now what I'm wondering is, do you tell them your symptoms? Or does someone tell the robot what to fill in? Because prescription, when you go to a pharmacy, you tell them, I've got a headache, I've got this, this, and that.
No,
and
but you go to the pharmacy from the doctor.
From the doctor, yes. But sometimes you can go straight to a pharmacist, especially if it's something mild. So I'm wondering if it knows. So just two other careers. Farmers, this is an interesting one. There's already such a thing as wine bots. Wine. So they prune the vines in the vineyards and they pull up the weeds near the base of the plant. And this is among many other farming robots. And then the last one affects us. There are robots in journalism.
Hell to the no.
Yes, robots in journalism. Yes. So actually, when you look at this one, it's particularly...
So does the robot go out in the community and get the story?
Nah, it just gathers data. So the people who are really in trouble, so to speak, are people who deal with like business analysis. You know what I mean? Even sports as well. Sports journalists who do a lot of number analysis. There's a robot that already writes short sports recaps. Like, you know how Arsenal played yesterday? The robot would just put the thing there.
Arsenal has won.
But, and this is the beautiful thing about being human, the robots are not creative. That's the one thing they can never take from us, our ability to create something out of nothing.
But the robots are going to take so many of our jobs. And what would we be doing?
The problem is, by extension, we are the robots, right? Because they don't exist without us. We are creating the robots. So I think if we don't want them to take things, then
we should not create them.
But the one group of people you can never tell to stop is scientists. They're going to ask questions for the rest of humanity. And maybe that's how humanity ends. One scientist just took it too far, just pressed the button because he was curious about the research.
Like, I think there should be limitations to our curiosity, man. Like, we can't just... You can't question everything. You can't question.
You started to sound like them tates in parliament. No, in African parliaments, really? a lot of them don't like to be like, no, you're asking many questions.
You're asking too much. You must draw the line. All right, now we move over to our next story. The Mine Workers Union of Namibia concluded a wage agreement with the Chinese-owned Getswabu Mining Service. Now, the MUN Erongo coordinator George Ampweya told Eagle FM that the parties agreed to a wage increment for employees within the bargaining unit, where employees in the category C1 and C2 will get a 10% increase, while those in lower categories will get a 2,750 increment. Other benefits agreed to by the parties also include medical aid allowances of 500 Namibian dollars and an annual back-to-school bonus equivalent to 3,000 Namibian dollars. Ampweya said. This is a good agreement.
I don't know how much it means for them on the ground, but I do like the fact that they're open to talks. I feel like a lot of companies have been getting asked to adjust wages and they just haven't been budging. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I mean, Mine Workers Union, I think for the most, really, as a union, they really prioritize, the needs.
Do you have some experience with Mine Workers?
I worked with Mine Workers Union.
No, talk to us. Give us the information. No, continue. Don't let me interrupt you.
No, like I was saying, as the union, I think they really do well with upholding their mandate, which is to ameliorate the living standards of mine workers. And that is what they are doing. They are constantly fighting
for their rights. And of course, the relationship between generally between the, Chinese folks and mine workers is usually a little shaky. You know, depending on the country. I know in Zambia and Zimbabwe, there's been widely reported abuses, even in Namibia in particular. I don't know if it's. I don't like to call it a Chinese thing. It's just a business thing.
It's just a business thing.
I think some people do business differently, and obviously business is dependent on how we culturally progress. So a lot of people do their own businesses differently, and I think it's good that we have the mining union. Yeah, it's just to overlook, keep an eye on what's going on over there.
All right. Now, Yolanda Nell has an interesting conversation after the break, an exciting interview that you absolutely have to see. We'll be right back.
We have a special guest in studio today, Ms. Laurentia Brzezinski. Am I saying it correctly?
You are close to
something. I know how it feels when people say my name and surname wrong because, as we all know, I'm Anushka Raut. And she is going to discuss today about a special project Sanlam Namibia has.
Yes.
Hi, Laurentia.
Hi.
Finally, I have her in studio, guys. I've been begging because all I need is some financial advice, Laurentia.
Well, I can't give you advice. I'm not accredited financial advisor yet. But I can guide you into where to get the financial advice.
And basically where I can get it is?
Yes, is at Sanlam.
You see? Such a marketer close to my heart.
Yes.
So we are here to actually talk about something special Sanlam has been doing with Ms. Maria Nepembe.
Yes.
And that is the Sanlam Sunday Sessions.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about this? What was the drive for Sanlam to be like, you know what, we see this, we need to do more with this?
Yeah. So we decided to have the Sanlam Sessions as part of our consumer education projects. Sometimes it's actually very good to explain these things in layman terms to the client out there to understand why they're taking certain products and why they have certain products. Because even if you have a financial advisor, at some point you forget why you took a life cover or what happens, as years go by with a life cover. So the Sunday sessions are really there to explain to the clients out there what it is to have a funeral cover, what it is to have a disability cover, what it is to have an accident cover. Because sometimes you take out a life cover and you have something like a disability cover attached to it, but then you don't actually know, or you've simply forgotten about it, and then when there's something that happens in real life, which we trying to forbid, you don't want something to happen to anyone, but then at least you'd know, I can go back to Sanlam and say, but I have a life cover with you, maybe there's something that's attached to it, a savings or an accident cover that I can use to assist me in the time that I'll be off work for maybe 2-3 months or whatever the case might be. So that was the idea around the Sunday sessions, and we made it Sunday sessions because it's a calmer time of the week, where you can really listen into it and focus and understand what's happening. And it's a chill session.
Yeah.
So
because you're chilling with
Maria, you're chilling with Maria, and you're enjoying that afternoon session. It's not long; it's about 2 to 5 minutes. Most of the sessions are like 2 to 5 minutes. So that's the idea with the Sunday sessions.
Yeah, I've watched the videos, definitely, because it's also airing on network television every Sunday 3 times, early morning, afternoon, and at night, where we catch you guys, where you guys are rustig.
Yes.
And then also, I see the positive on what you guys are bringing to it. And normally we have negative stories about insurance companies and just sad stories. What are the positives for Sanlam Namibia?
So one of our promises are to pay out claims, and I want to specifically focus on funeral claims in 7 hours. And 7 hours purely so that we have our clients and their families not struggle that much when they do go through this. I mean, if you have a death in your family, you don't still want to struggle to get your money that you've been saving with us for some time. So that's one of the things that we try and do. We want to do it in 7 hours when all documentation has been submitted correctly. We promise to pay you out in that. And if I can there are a few numbers that I just wanted to release. We've had since January 2022 until December 2022, we've had about 6,000 funeral claims that were paid out. And that amounted to about $110 million that was paid out to, to the clients. So,
when I'm quickly counting the zeros.
Yes, the zeros are very difficult.
I don't think we should write down the zeros. We should just say the words.
Yes. So it's 110 million, and then if we look at what we've paid out thus far for January, we've paid out for 462 claims, $9 million just for January 2023. And that's just on funeral claims. So we really try our best to make sure that our clients really get what they pay for, and we give them the service that they deserve, because like I said, I don't want to stress as a client when I still need to complete forms and stuff to claim for a funeral, and then I still have to deal with the funeral tears at home.
Exactly.
And that is the idea with Sanlam, to really be there, care for you, support in the time of need.
So basically, you guys are proving to be the action behind your words.
Yes, we promise that, and we deliver.
So anything else, like, so this is now also, I'm taking the plan forward for Sanlam for 2023. But is there anything else that Sanlam is also looking to broaden their horizon on?
So for the year, we are really looking at, bettering our service. We can pat ourselves on the back and say that we necessarily provide top service. I can say so myself. But we also try as much as we can to bring up innovative products so that it can benefit the client. We recently launched a product called Sanlam Extra. So it's a benefit product to a funeral product that we have. So if you have it's called the Prestige Funeral Plan. So the Prestige Funeral Plan then has this Sanlam extra benefit to the funeral product. There are a lot of things that you get as an extra on that product, and then there are a lot of competitions that you can take place within that. We've recently awarded a few clients, not awarded, but some clients won vouchers, TVs. You get a voucher from Woolman Brock, for example, to do grocery shopping, $2,000. You get the option of having medical assistance right 24 hours right through. We have a saying that, sometimes you have a child that's sick at home, and then you don't want to take the risk of just leaving and not knowing where you're going. So you can call this free of charge, and then you can have an online consultation with a doctor before you decide what to do after that. If it is something that is hectic, that you need to take your person to the hospital, we have free ambulance services, and that they will come and pick you up and take you to the hospital that you need to be at.
You're still with Smell the Coffee. Now, if you ask Anna and I how we like to spend our weekends, we like to vibe. And when we say vibe, that means interaction. It means self-care, self-love. But there's a couple that is selfless because they've been redoing and repainting bus stops in Windhoek. Have a look.
remember to buy your I Can Cook book, recipe book rather, on shop.my.na for $100 and all proceeds go to the Cancer Association. From all of us here in studio, it's all our love, all our light, and
Adios.
adios.